right. Welcome everyone. Welcome. Sorry about the delay. Okay. So. Hopefully everyone had a great day today. So as usual, let's go over what happened with the markets today. So let's first check up on SPY. So like I said, guys, I've been saying this for this entire week. I said that there's going to be two scenarios, right? Number one, we're either going to continue up higher after this intermittent pullback and very very textbook pullback here, and just make sure I get the right. There we go. Okay, make sure it's a lot easier for you guys to see. So with this textbook pullback and very incremental pullback at that as well, we are seeing a very nice bounce, and we are still holding over the 10 SMA since we're able to close above it multiple times the past 3 days, including today. And we had the 21 SMA trailing close behind. So that's pretty good. Very good to see. At some point while we are consolidating, I expect the 10 and my 21 SMAs, again, those are my momentum pair, to start consolidating and kind of entangling with each other, which is indicating that the price is in consolidation mode or consolidation phase. So going back to what I was saying, with our first scenario here, as I've outlined and detailed for you guys of what I could expect to see for SPY, was that we can continue to make higher highs as we're bouncing away from this intermittent pullback and very incremental pullback. And as we're doing that, we can start filling in this little tiny gap here between 438.37 and 438.97. It's a very small gap. It's only a difference of a few cents here. And so if we do fill in this gap, there is a chance that we can overshoot, as that usually tends to happen when we fill in gaps, when we hit significant levels of resistances or support, or when we hit significant simple moving averages or exponential moving averages, or whatever technical indicator you guys use, like the MACD or whatever else. Now, if we do indeed overshoot and we decide to break a little over after filling in this gap, this little tiny gap down, we can hit 440, a whole number level. And why this level? Well, simply because, again, it's a whole number level, and that's kind of where we saw that a good amount of selling coming in around that whole number level. So we can have this lower high pivot point right over here, which will be our second lower high pivot point, since the high of this year, right? So the quote-unquote all-time high of this year, this fiscal year of 2023, is sitting at $443.61. And so with that clearly in mind, then we take a look at this potential second pivot high point. We can at least deduce that it can happen somewhere around 440. And if that happens, again, we're going to come back down and possibly at that point retest with the daily 21 SMA, since we have not seen that actual retest and touch of this light blue line here, this 21 SMA. And once that happens, then we will see that entanglement of the 21 and the 10, right? The 21 and the 10 SMAs, which will obviously tell you that the price is consolidating, or you don't even need to use the simple moving averages, and you can tell that the price is consolidating because, well, it's not, there's no specific trend, right? We're just having a little tiny pullback, bouncing here and there, rejecting our resistances and stuff like that, right? You guys should know what consolidation is at this point. So SPY, that's what we have here. And then the Qs, the QQQ, right? It was a very quiet day here, very quiet, as we're transitioning from quarter 2 to quarter 3. So there's gonna be a lot of well, there isn't that much, but there's gonna be some portfolio readjusting going on, and so the market won't be moving as much. Most likely there's going to be a bit of selling as we go into full-on summer season mode, right, into midsummer. So the Qs still have a lot more, I would say, a lot more time needed to cool off and consolidate. I gave you guys kind of this path here, and so far we've been following this path. I've drew this, I think, last week. I believe it was last week, or I think it was Tuesday, maybe Tuesday or last week. I don't really remember, but we've been following this path to a T. All right, so if you guys have been trusting my analysis as usual, you guys should see that this has been working pretty well, and we are now forming this support on the daily time frame at 357.50. Let's make that green now. And again, since we are now staying underneath the 10 SMA, which means that the entire tech sector has been losing momentum, which makes sense as we're seeing the money flowing out from the overall leading tech sector and going into value names. So we're seeing a transition, a pretty textbook transition from growth to value names, right? It tends to be a pretty standard oscillation at this point in time in the year when we get money going out of leading growth stocks, specifically growth tech stocks, and then into value names, right? So the Qs should continue to consolidate at least around, at least hit 357.50 once more, like I illustrated right here, for a potential future path of the price trend as we continue to consolidate. Now, for the Qs here, if we do break underneath 357.50, as it's not a very significant level of support on the daily time frame, there could be a chance for us to come all the way back down to around 348. Now, why 348? Well, this daily 50 SMA has to catch up, and it is indeed catching up after a huge, amazing, monumental run to the upside, right? So with that in mind, if we do come back down to 348, I completely hope that the daily 50 SMA is somewhere hanging around this 358 level, this whole number level, and we see a coinciding retest of the support level plus the daily 50 SMA, and that could give us a very good rebound to the upside, and we can hit that 357.50 resistance level. All right, and then from that point forward, I expect to see some sort of a range trading trend to kick in between 348 and 357.50. But this is all in just an assumption that we can see a pullback all the way back down to the 348 level, and if we do break below this daily level of support at 357.50. But if we don't break 357.50, then I expect us to continue to kind of move sideways around 357 and maybe 365, since 365 has been a major level of resistance on the intraday time frames here, as seen on the 2-hour time frame right over here. Okay, right here. Now, regarding the 2-hour time frame, we're slowly forming a very micro inverted head and shoulders chart pattern. So if you guys don't see it, let me just quickly draw it for you guys with my brush. All right, here's the left shoulder, here's the right shoulder, and here's the inverted head, and then here is the right shoulder. So they're all inverted, right? 2 inverted shoulders and 1 inverted head. So this could be bullish tomorrow, since it is going to be the last day of the second quarter. So as we transition from the second quarter to the third quarter, I am going to again expect seasonality trends to kick in. And I told all of my private CFO members what the trends that we should be looking into midsummer and all the way up until the last week of quarter 3 and before we head into quarter 4. And I told everyone to get into certain positions that will benefit from such seasonality trends. And so if you guys really want to know what that is, then make sure you guys join. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys are always reaching out to me on Instagram at chartsfocus1, or even just emailing me at charts41@gmail.com. But usually people tend to message me on Instagram. Now, with these seasonality trends, it's important to follow them because I have been saying this since, I believe, in December, late October to November. I started saying this, and I believe I said that with the third year, which is the presidential year, right? So this is when this trend, this seasonal trend right? Seasonality trend on the third year of a president's first term tends to provide great returns, and that's the reason why I've been telling everyone that there won't be a huge market crash since the October lows, the December lows, right, and even March lows of this year, right? So, it's worked out pretty well so far, right? March lows is all day here, and so the Qs definitely need to cool down, obviously. Now, again, I don't know if we're gonna follow this exact same path, but so far it has been following that path. I fully expect to either see Qs having one final push up higher over this 365 level, and then breaking over and retesting around I want to say 369, but around 368.20. That's a 3-point gain there from 365. So there is definitely a trade to be taken there, especially a day trade. And so that's something that you guys can definitely use as a trade idea tomorrow. And if you do reach 368.20, we can reject it, creating just like on SPY. All right, just like on SPY, another second lower high pivot point from the first high pivot point at 372.34. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Hey, welcome guys. Welcome. Right, so again, I'm going over the Qs a lot more because I went over SPY multiple times this entire week. Okay, so hopefully you guys can go back to the last few lives. So definitely check out the live from Tuesday, as I go over a lot of trade ideas as well. Okay. All right, so with that in mind, let's take a look at MU. So yesterday I had my private Wednesday huddle, where it's a meeting for all the private members, and we're talking about MU because we were looking to hold through earnings here, and we had a pretty good cushion of I believe 35% there. Most of my members did have that cushion. However, during pre-market, I believe after hours, when the market closed, and after hours trading was also closed, the price was around $69 and like what, 13 cents? I don't really remember. $69 and maybe even 9 cents, somewhere around there. And in the morning during pre-market trading, I think it was sitting around 69.50ish to 60. So $69 and like 50 cents around there. It was oscillating, and then right before, as we're heading into the open, the price continued to go lower and lower and lower, and ultimately we ended up opening up around 67.84. So not even at 68, right, or even slightly over 68. And so obviously those contracts that we had were seeing some crazy IV crushes. Right, most weekly expiration contracts were definitely crushed by IV. If you guys don't know what IV is, it's implied volatility. There's a lot of information out there if you guys want to know what that is. And obviously, it affected all the Greeks on those contracts and ultimately the premium on those contracts. And so, we were able to get out pretty quickly for, I believe, 50%, right? Negative 50% there, since, it really didn't matter the premium value that we got yesterday, even though we did get it right at the little tiny bouncer that you guys see. So do you guys see this wick here at the bottom, this bottom wick, right? So we got in exactly right over 65.50, this whole number level. And we were able to snipe that right there, and we just rolled it all the way up to the top, and obviously into the close. And so even if we did have the little tiny gap up in the morning from the close, it wasn't enough, as the IV just completely crushed every single premium, especially for contracts that were not in the money at market open, especially those contracts, right? And obviously almost all of weekly expiring contracts for MU. So this one was definitely a lesson learned here. But again, that risk was known and it was taken with that known risk. Hopefully for all my CFO, private CFO members, and I repeatedly said that as well yesterday when the market was open, and we went over that as well on what to do, that we need to quickly exit if at market opening, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if it's going to pump up higher or lower, and in this case, in hindsight, we went lower, right? So that's kind of what happened with MU, right? So that should take care of the first part here, or actually the second part after the market review, okay? And okay, so I did want to go over one thing, that one name that I am looking at with my private CFO members, and hopefully most of my private CFO members are in right now because of the seasonality trend that's going to be, I would say, trending for 2 months, so from July to around early August. But again, I did all that research for my private CFO members only. Right, I did hours of reading. So if you guys want to truly know what's going on, make sure you guys subscribe and go from there, and you get all the answers to any other type of questions that you guys have for such seasonality trends. All right. Now I want to go over something that you guys can actually look into tomorrow, which is Visa. So Visa, right? Let me go back. So Visa is obviously, right, I mean, Visa cards or credit cards, they're usually taken as some sort of a a value name, right? But in fact, investors and traders actually tend to look at Visa as a tech name. That's right. So Visa and even Master, right? Mastercard, right? They're both kind of similar. They do similar things. They are seen as tech names. Okay, I believe so. Yeah. So the only reason why I'm bringing this up is that I've always seen FinTweet fighting about what type of stocks MA and V are. I don't really tend to care what that is, because obviously why would I need to care about that when I'm taking a look at the chart? So I might have that flipped. If I do, please let me know, but in the comments below or on the live chat. But again, that doesn't really matter. I'm just letting you guys know. If you guys do get confused, sometimes I get confused too, because again, it's the industries right here: commercial services and miscellaneous commercial services, right? So you guys can just go off of that, the actual factual information. But people say that, right? That they're both tech names rather than value names. So that's something to look into. But in my opinion, it doesn't matter. just focus on the the technical chart here. So Visa, first let's take a look at the weekly time frame, right? So Visa tends to really follow SPY, right? So if you take a look at SPY and Visa, even with MasterCard, right? MA. Oops. So SPY and V, they're lagging, right? So V is completely lagging compared to SPY. So if we're going to weekly time frame, take out all my levels here, right? So it's kind of lagging here, right? Since we did move a considerable percentage here, obviously from October's lows. I'm not saying we didn't. It's like almost 35% from October lows. And then for SPY, okay, percentage wise, October lows right here, somewhere around there, right? Actually, the percentage wise doesn't really do me good here. Yeah, no, let's forget that. So percentage wise, obviously it's gonna be different, but for just visual wise, right? When you observe the price here, there is a little bit more room for V, right, to go higher. Obviously, it's held a lot better compared to SPY, right? But I truly think that Visa can have is having a consolidation phase while SPY has been breaking out to the upside, right? So if you compare in that sense, in that observational perspective, right, comparing these two, right, the overall market to SPY, right, the benchmark that we use is just SPY, which is SPY, and comparing to Visa, it seems like just from an observational standpoint that it's lagging, right? And we're not that far away from all-time highs. And people love to kind of go into these supposed quote-unquote tech or value. It doesn't, again, I could care less of what people are always fighting about with Visa and MasterCard, but at this time at point in time, Visa and MasterCard tends to run up with the market, especially even if whatever the market may be doing, maybe pulling back, Visa and MasterCard tends to hold really well in whatever price range that they're staying in, consolidate, and then they move up higher when the market starts to move back to the upside. And so with that in mind, on a daily time frame, right, we had this huge level. Let me move this here. Right, we had this huge level sitting at 234.50, or an area of 50 cents between 234.50 and 235. And so with that in mind, this resistance level, all right, could easily be taken out tomorrow because of the volume today and the move, right? So we have this huge move. So this moved nearly 3%. So it's at 2.79% on the day. Gains, right? Not losses, obviously. And we had a little tiny gap up as well, and we held that gap up, and we closed strongly over the daily 50 SMA, which we have been struggling to stay over. And that's a lot of the reasons why that we've been kind of, whiplashing back and forth between these very significant daily levels of resistances and support, and obviously in between the 10, 21, and 50 SMA. And so this one looks like it's ready to continue higher tomorrow morning. So I highly recommend you guys to take a look at this one. And if you guys are looking for specifically some contracts to look at to possibly swing this, I would say take a look at the 240 strike or 242.5 strike call contracts that expire on July 21st, right? So, obviously I'm going to let my private CFO members know when the best entry can be. And if you guys aren't members, I can't really give you that opportunity there, but unless you guys join. However, those two contracts will be those contracts that the private CFO members and I will be looking at specifically tomorrow morning as we decide to see if we can enter right through this 235 level. And ultimately, okay, we're going to want to see a potential profit target to 240 and over, right? So that's going to be, so let's say our entry point is around 235.10 or even 235.20, which is going to be over this previous most recent pivot high point at 235.11, right? And this is crucial to know, because if we are able to go over that previous pivot high point that we made, that lets you know that buyers are in control. Because again, this pivot high point was created because of the fact that we weren't able to go higher than this number, and sellers regained control at this 235 or 234.50 area, and we start to see that push lower as we saw right over here in these weeks. And so if we're able to go over 235.11, then that means we have ultimately successfully pushed out the sellers sitting at this little tiny supply area of 234.50 to 235. And we should be able to see a nice squeeze higher to 240. And ultimately, I obviously want to see, in the most ideal scenario, a retest of this all-time high number at 249.02. Okay, and so if that happens before July 21st, which is the expiration for both of the 240 and 242.50 call contracts, we should be able to see those contracts gaining significant premium and they'll both be very in the money if we do see a retest at this 249 all-time high number. But again, even just the move towards 240 and 242.50 will be amazing, right? Because both of those contracts right now have gained significant premium value just from today's price action. As we again, we almost gained 3% on the day here for V. Same with MA. But again, if you guys want to look at cheaper contracts, due to the fact that the underlying share price, right, the underlying is a lot more expensive on MA compared to V. Obviously, right? Just take a look at the numbers. So the premium value is going to be a lot more expensive on those MasterCard contracts. Okay, but again, very similar charts, right? They tend to follow a very similar chart pattern style, except MasterCard has a lot more flat resistance or flat base here compared to V, right? Obviously seen by this little tiny pop over here into new all-time highs, where MasterCard didn't really see that, and then it formed that kind of resistance, major resistance level around 393. Okay, so anything over that we tend to reject right away, as we've seen over here and over here, or if we do get it within close proximity of this 393 level, we tend to reject right away, right? So again, both very similar price action and both similar chart patterns sitting up on the weekly and on the daily time frame. Okay, hopefully that made sense. So good luck with those trade ideas. Again, we're looking at specifically V only, but if you guys really want to take a look at MasterCard, make sure you guys choose your strikes and expiration dates wisely, as always, or make sure they're logical. They're not too far out the money, because again, when you're trading option contracts, I always tell my students this, that you have to focus on trying to get those contracts for me, especially if they're out the money. So the entire objective is to have those contracts, out the money contracts or OTM contracts, go ITM, in the money. Right? Those are those are the number one objectives that you always have for out the money contracts. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. All right, so those are your trade ideas for tomorrow. Now, I want to go over quantum computing stocks, because I literally called the trend here that we're gonna start to see the hype transitioning from AI to quantum computing stocks, and I seriously highlighted this in my CFO Stream and Watch newsletter that all my private CFO members get, including my one-on-one mentorship students who are in that program. And I called this out last week. Remember, we had a very short trading week on Monday night when the markets weren't open. And so they got it very early entry points. We got in at $9, right? And today we ended up at near highs again. The weekly highs at near 14.07. So we closed at $13.50. Now, obviously, we are a bit overextended as seen here on the RSI, but you don't really need to see that. You can tell by the price action that we are seeing an overextension, because again, we just started a new second leg higher up, right? This very impulsive move to the upside, and there is increasing hype and momentum in the quantum computing space. Again, there's that huge promise of a QaaS products, so quantum as a service for a lot of these new burgeoning companies in this specific sector, especially even with AI companies as well. They're looking to integrate quantum computing technologies with whatever products or services that they have, either whether it's tangible or software, right? Hardware, software, whatever it may be. So IONQ, definitely take a look at this one. And also the second one that I'm looking at and we have a position on is QBTS. Okay, so I personally have one, but I haven't told my private CFO members yet, because this one's going to be a little more tricky, because right now, again, I went over this on Tuesday. So this one has been absolutely decimated since IPO. I believe this IPO using SPAC as a SPAC merger. Okay, so if you guys SPACs were really that huge thing back in I would say I think it was like mid 2021 to early 2022, right? So I think that's kind of when the hype started, I would say. But again, if you guys don't know what a SPAC is, they're called Special Purpose Acquisition Company. That's right. So Special Purpose Acquisition Company, and it's basically a blank check company, and it's the whole entire purpose is to merge, right? In order to take that company public. So it's a way to IPO, right? It's a way to have an initial public offering into the public markets, right? To the equity markets. So they're basically it's a blank check company looking to merge with another business or a company and taking it public, right? So that's basically what it is. There's a lot of hype behind it, and obviously that hype died off pretty quickly and pretty hard, as you guys can see by this price action. It quickly became a penny stock, a pretty trashy penny stock name. But now with this quantum computing hype, and for the fact that this name, right, alone has that name, quantum, in it, right? D-Wave Quantum. It sounds really techy and advanced, right? And innovative, right? So with the name recognition that it has with quantum, okay, there's a huge possibility that we can see another large run up in this name. Okay, just like I would say QuantumScape, right? QS. This one has been having a very nice day today and yesterday as well. So there is that very, very good chance that this one can also run up, even though I wasn't looking to show you guys this one. But just solely off of that name recognition, QuantumScape, especially when the hype starts to get going, it starts to really happen for this entire quantum computing, again, which is very, very, it's at a baby stage right now. But if that starts happening, make sure you guys watch names that had that name recognition, like QuantumScape, and QBTS or D-Wave Quantum. Very, very important, right? So hopefully you guys understand that, right? Hey, thank you guys for 4 likes. Awesome. Or 5. Actually, I just updated right now. Awesome. So I know it's a Thursday, so people are kind of checked out, but make sure you guys take a look at that. Always. And if anyone wants to give me any tickers that they want me to go over for tonight, let me know now and send them in the live chat. I'll be waiting. But that's it from me, guys. I went over the markets. I went over the names that I was looking to go over. I even threw in some extra ones. But again, tomorrow, definitely look at VNMA, right? Visa and MasterCard. And obviously Ionic and QBST, right? IONQ is the ticker symbol, and QBST is the second ticker symbol I've seen here for D-Wave Quantum. Okay, and obviously MU, we're definitely going to continue to watch this one. Obviously, I made this, unfortunately, this bearish engulfing candlestick, which means on the weekly candlestick as well, we're forming this very, very nasty looking bearish hammer candlestick, this inverted hammer candlestick to the downside. And so we can smack all the way back down to possibly even 62 or even lower than that, because again, we have this ascending support trend line that we almost broke out of today, which we did, and we came back up to the 64.40-ish level, which was a previous level of a breakout here. This is the initial breakout level at 64.40 that we were looking at, and we obviously traded it all the way to the breakout. And unfortunately, we have come back down to retest it. We are not trying to hold it due to earnings results, due to the headwinds that this company is facing. There's a lot of growth fears due to the fact that China has banned Micron semiconductor chips from being imported into their country. So that is going to be, a problem, obviously. The US has been scurrying to try to kind of fire back at them, and also to not make sure Japanese and South Korean semiconductor companies to fill in that void that has been made due to the fact that Micron chips are not allowed anymore in the semiconductor market in China. So with that Micron chips not supplying that area anymore, the U.S. has been scurrying to make sure that that Japanese and South Korean semiconductor companies aren't filling in that hole. So, still a developing story right now. So we'll see. And also, the Biden administration has been looking to also ban exports on certain U.S. Chip makers as well. So a lot of stuff that can really stunt future growth on names, especially like Micron. There is a good chance we come back down to the 50s, the 55 to the 50s. Who knows? So just be ready for anything. All right. But yeah. Does anyone have any takers they want to go over? Anyone? I would love to go over any takers here. But yeah, for the people who are just joining in, make sure you guys watch the recording as always, like I say every single time, just to make sure that you guys understand why it's important to go back to the recording, because I always do my best, to the best of my ability, to try to give you guys valuable and most importantly, applicable information that you guys can use in the next trading day or even the next 2 trading weeks or few months. So make sure you guys understand why I always say that, to go back to the recording even if you have watched the live stream. But again, the recording is there for you guys to make sure you guys know what's going to happen in the next few weeks, next few months. So overall, again, I'm saying this because I want you guys to understand that these live streams are basically applicable. Okay. All right, well, if no one has any questions or any tickers that they want me to go over, let's end it here. All right. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button down below if you guys are either live watching now, right, on this live stream, or if you guys are watching the recording, excuse me. If you guys are watching the recording, and if you guys aren't subscribed yet, why not? Why aren't you guys subscribed yet, right? And so make sure you guys also, once you hit that subscribe button, it's important that you guys hit that little notification bell, because again, it will let you guys know when I upload a new video, or most importantly, it will notify you whether you have it on YouTube app or through email, right? I believe YouTube also sends emails when someone's live. But make sure you guys have that notification bell on so that you guys know when I am live. But I always have a set schedule. Today was a little bit different because I had something to do beforehand. But the set times are set days and times are Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, or 9 p.m. EST or Eastern Standard Time. Again, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. PST or 9 p.m. EST. All right. So good luck tomorrow. All right. It's the last trading day of the second quarter. So hopefully I have been guiding you guys well. I've been giving out pretty great trading ideas that have worked well, really well, since the beginning of this year. So hopefully people have been able to act on the information that I give you guys. Again, it's very important that you guys understand that my information is important and valuable because it is applicable. Right? I do the research for you guys so that you guys are able to apply that knowledge and information to your own trading and during your own trading journeys. Okay, so hopefully it feels almost like a consultation when I'm giving you guys this information, right? The research that I do for you all. So hopefully you guys can return that back by showing appreciation by just simply clicking the like button down below and subscribing to the channel. That's all I need. All right, and if you guys aren't private CFO members, you guys can join as well. All right, okay, have a great rest of your night. See you guys tomorrow morning. For all my private CFO members who are just watching this right now or are watching this recording, I'll see you guys in the morning. And for all the people who are the public watchers here and who aren't private CFO members, I will see you all on Tuesday of next week at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great rest of your night, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching.